Okay, guys, so I am back to my book. The guy I talked to today is getting my book back to me pretty soon, and I will just revise anything I saw in it that I want to add or delete. On top of that, I have somebody mentoring me now with writing because I will want to write other books eventually. But I thought take some more writing classes, do some more stuff with your writing because I do enjoy writing. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to look into the Rock Rimmon, Manchester, New Hampshire projects some more, and I want to look into the mills over there, right? So I was doing a little bit of history, and the mills have always been there to me growing up in Manchester, New Hampshire, and Epsom, and Deerfield, and Chichester, and just growing up in New Hampshire, going to school in Pembroke. But now I'm like, okay, do some history on them. So, they were a very textile factory, right? And then during the Depression, a lot of people lost jobs, but they got people over here, immigrants from Canada, etc., to work in these mills. So my mom growing up, this is a part of my story, she worked in the mills right around the 60s. So she would have been 60s, 70s, teenager. She worked in those mills. So I want to look at the history. I want to look at the history of the orphanage over there. I think it was St. Peter she was in. And then I want to look at the history of Rock Rimmon some more. So that I may, if I get enough work done, include it in my history of my pro-life book. But my grandmother back in the 30s and stuff, where there was the depression, prostitution was normal in many circles because they had to make money in different ways. It depended on the societal norms for different people, but they had to make it, right? So prostitution has been something over different eras that have meant different things to different societies. So coming from that background, that's just one side of my background. The other side is in the country. But that city life, you can imagine how hard that must have been for people to survive. And this is why I'm thankful to my grandmother that she was very good to me. She was extremely good to me. I was the pride of her life. She dotted on me. She was very good to me. And we used to go out. My mom used to take us out, out to eat, out everywhere together. And so I was very fortunate to have a grandmother who was very good to me. And my mother is the one who also had to change a lot growing up in the environment she grew up in. So to be, can you imagine? I mean, that's not even like a childhood, having to be like, working for, BF Goodrich or one of the other companies when they were starting to make airplane parts. I mean, they were a huge company, so you didn't have time to do what you wanted, right? You had to do what society said in that day. It's not like nowadays where we take time for ourselves and we make sure, we're exercising or doing whatever. Back in that day, you did what you were supposed to do, whether you liked it or not, and that's the way it was. So that historical context where a lot of people had it rough, and I'm connecting with people too. That lays a foundation for abortion, guys. I just heard somebody, and you can see it on my post, where they felt like all kids in foster care should be killed. Okay, now I just went to In-N-Out where they are actually supporting kids, right? And they're saying kids who have seen domestic abuse, people who have been brought up in these rough places, they are supporting. So our culture is more child centered now, where growing up it was more adult centered. So there's a lot there, and that is a big part when people come from different things that happen in history or something that make people think abortion is okay. It's not okay, but what do you do when you have 10 kids, right, that you cannot really afford them? But most families were like that back in that day. They had 10, 13 kids, whatever. And they had to work very hard. They had to go to school, then usually the Air Force or the military to go and take care of their country, right? So they had a lot more responsibility. So I'll be digging in more and probably adding this stuff to my book too, to look at other people's perspectives too. When it comes to abortion, doesn't mean it's right, but for this woman on my post to go hit that other woman, you don't just go kill kids in foster care. I am proud that my family had Rose. I mean, they went through a lot. My grandmother, my mother, and my mother also had changed a lot. And this is how much work my family had to do too in order to survive. So it's amazing the stories they have had.